Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be scuffing down the tread area of the tires that we're going to be using on our Saturday Night Short Track 1971 root build car. And while I was doing that, I thought I would show you, it's pretty much the same technique I use on all of them, but to get a different effect, I use different sanding agents and things like that. But I also want to show you some of the tires I've done in the past and why I did them the way I did them. So let's get over and take a look. First up, let's take a look at a few of the tires I've done in the past and kind of the results as to what I wanted for that tire. This one is from my 1969 David Pearson Torino Talladega, and this is a kit tire. After we remove the mold line, if you'll notice the tread pattern is pretty worn down. I really laid into this one with the sandpaper because I really wanted it to have a really worn down look. The decals, by the way, for this one, Plastic Performance Products makes a great set, but this particular set is from the old Fred Caddy sheet. But I think this turned out pretty well. It got just the right effect that I wanted. Next is the tire. Now this tire is from Plastic Performance Products, and it is the correct era for the 70 or 69-70 era. And this one I did kind of the same way, a little bit lighter, so the tread is more pronounced. It's not as worn down looking. And they did have that little tread pattern in those back in that time frame that year. So I think it looked pretty good. But you notice this one compared to the 69 Talladega, this one is much more worn down. So you just lay into it a little bit more, just like a real tire. They wear down over time. Now this one I had a totally different effect. This is from my Superflow car. Now this tire I did some probably 15 years ago. And I wanted it to have a sheen. If you see, the letters look like they're brand new. They're whiter. You notice the sticker on the tire. Now, back then they had the smaller sticker on it. It's unlike they are today with all the printing and everything. And you see how this one, for my 32nd scale, is the lettering is a little bit darker, and I'll get into that here in a minute, how I did that. But as far as the tread goes, you'll notice it's got a little bit of a sheen to it. After I sanded the mold line out, I went down from the coarse grit of sandpaper down to a softer grit, probably to about 800, and then I took some water and just spun it in the drill until I got a little bit of a sheen, because I wanted this to be a brand new tire. And by the way, these are stencils. These aren't decals. These are the Replicas and Miniatures of Maryland stencils that I use. I'd forgotten I glued the lug nuts on there just like the real cars back then. But anyway, I wanted this to be a set of sticker tires, brand new tires. So I kind of gave this a little bit of a, I don't want to use the word polish, but a polished look, like a brand new tire would be. A set of stickers. So that's why I did that one that way. And again, you can see how coarse a good used tire is too. And then going to, this one is for my 32nd scale Lumina, and we're going to be getting back to here. But this one, we did the same thing, and I gave it a little more of a worn look, but I think that worked out pretty good. So how do you get these different effects? Well, again, you're going to use different sanding mediums to do that, and we want that used look for our Mustang as well, so we're going to get it to look a little like that. So what we use to do that is several things. I usually start to get that line out with some 220 or some 320 sandpaper. This is a piece of 220, 320, 400. And also we'll use one of the coarse sanding sticks. I think this is a 320 sanding stick. So we want to take that down. And it doesn't matter what kind of tire it is. One of the big old hefty drag slicks, one of the monogram drag slicks. Now this one, of course, has not been done. And as you see, this one has. And a few other ones here. Whether it's, even if it's a street tire, you can still do the same thing there. And here's one of those NASCAR tires that's brand new, and there's that seam. And this is from one of the later monogram versions. But it doesn't really matter. This one, I really do like these. The Plastic Performance product stuff. Y'all have heard me talk about these things a lot. These things have some great, you've got the seam there, but you notice the wear indicator bars? Every so often on the tire, you'll see that, just like the real thing. You'll see those wear indicator marks. And so we're going to be doing a set of these for our Mustang. And even if you're doing one of the modifieds, this is one of the Plastic Performance products modified tires. And don't you love the way they do that? They put that nice gloss on it, so the decals, which come with them too, by the way, go right on there. Then you hit it with some dull coat, and boom. These things look fantastic. But these also have the wear indicators, just like the real thing. And we may do a set of those too. Now, the kit, the tires that came in the kit, I really like the tires. I like how cushy they are. I like the, and what I'm talking about, what came in the kit was not the Mustang, but the ones that came in the kit of the GTO Super Stocker. But they're treaded. They're like for a dirt tire. And you can sand this tread all the way off and have a slick, an asphalt tire. I have done it. In fact, we may give that a shot here in a few minutes. But this is where I start usually, and then I make adjustments to the sandpaper, depending again on what I'm doing. I'll go all the way up to 600 and 800 to get a sticker tire. But for this one again, we're going to be doing the Firestones, I think. So we want to have those with some worn look to them. And that is a good looking tire though, isn't it? The other thing before we get to sanding is what we use. I'd mentioned in the last video, I have a little thing that I made that works really well, whether it's chucked into the drill or whether it's in the Dremel. And this is something you can go to Hobby Lobby or different places, and it's designed for rounding pinewood derby wheels. And it just, you chuck your little pinewood derby wheel in there, and then you can sand it and get it perfectly round and all that stuff. Cool little tool. Well, I like it because it's a whole lot longer stem, as you see here. And what I did was use the back off of one of the 24th scale stock cars, and this just came out of my parts box. And what we do is you just put this onto any of these tires, and just run it in. And we'll do one while we have this one on here. And it's nice and round. And that's the other thing. Make sure when you, whatever you're using, that it's not on there kind of cattywampus, so it kind of does like the stem wouldn't, but the tire's not on there wrong. And there, guys, there's all kinds of things. There's a commercially made thing that you get. I see it at different shows all the time. I keep saying I'm going to pick one up, but I don't. I just use what I've gotten used to. But Anything that works, hey, I'm all for it. My buddy Larry Corbin has, if you're familiar with Lionel train tires, the wheels that go on the trains, those are perfect. You can butt those back up to each other and slide them on there, and it works just fine. So whatever works for you, whatever you do, and in fact, share in the comments what you use. Another thing that I've used this before, but I've also seen Chris at HPI Guy also uses a 1/2-inch socket. I've used this for a while too in the drill, and it fits everything. And the great thing about doing it this way, if you want to do multiple tires at a time, with my focus, I only do one tire at a time, and that's just me. But you could line up like the street tires, you could line them up across there. But as you see, what I usually do is once I get it on there to make sure it's nice and flat, I'll push it down. And now I know it's on there. Right, so we can scuff that. And this is one of those big top fuel slicks. But about any type of tire in 24th or 25th scale, as you see, is absolutely perfect for it. Oop. There we go. Like I said, once you get it on there, all you do is just back down to the bottom and bam. There it is. And that holds true for all of them. In fact, I think I'm going to show you how we can take that tread all the way off too. So we're going to be working on that as well. So let me get this stuff in the Dremel and in the drill, and we'll get busy. Okay guys, so we've got everything set up, and this is one of the old monogram tires. As you can see, you've got some mold blemishes in that, and of course that seam line. So we're going to be taking that out. And we'll be using our sanding stick to start off. Actually, let's use the 220 sandpaper first. And we'll take that down a little bit. And I'm not going to stop and keep talking between tires. I'm just going to kind of go from one to the other. And if I need to talk to you about something, I will. I think next I'll do the street tire to just take that sheen off and give it a little bit of a worn look. We've already done that drag slick. I think we'll take this big one down a little bit, and we're already doing one of these. And then last, we'll start on this one, and I think I'll show you how we'll take that tread all the way down and make it an asphalt tire. So we'll get going. Okay guys, so let's see what the results of these. We took our standard stock car tire to the old monogram kit, as you remember here, and then once we chucked it in and got it rounded down, we've got a good scuffed look there. Now if you wanted that, again, new tire look like we had here, you can go back and do a little water sanding with maybe some 400, just lightly, not much. But I think our results are, yeah, pretty good there. And that's just the old regular monogram tire. Next up was our street tire, and if you remember, you had that good sheen right out of the package or out of the box, and then we just put a little bit of sandpaper to it, and well, let me get out of the, and gave it a little bit of a worn look. Another way to get down into the cracks and crevices, so to speak, into the tread where that shine is hit it with a little bit of just Tester's Dull Coat. That's my go-to on it anyway. And now Tamiya's Dull Coat is really good too. But I like the Testers for this. And if you wanted to get down in there, I think that turned out pretty well too. And then we went to those big top fuel slicks. If you remember, that's what we started with. I just had this regular seam. Nice tire though. And then there's our look after it's scuffed down a little bit. I think that's pretty nice too. Next up was our tire that we took out of the MPC Pro Super Stocker. Now this one came out of the Pontiac, but it's the same one that's in all of those Super Stocker series. And as I said, we wanted to make it into an asphalt tire. And to do that, just take all the tread off. Now this takes a little longer, and as you saw in the video there, I used the sanding stick to take the edges down a little bit, because if you'll notice right here on the edge, you've got this little wrap around the edge there of the tread. Well, you're going to have to take that off. So we used our sanding stick and just went around it, and then we used a milder abrasive to smooth that out a little bit. Now if you wanted to take and just, this is 220 and 320, but if you wanted to take some 400, I wouldn't do it wet because you don't want to have it a sheen, but it would be a little smoother than that. But yeah, we turned this into this, just wore it down. Now something I forgot to actually video was one of the Plastic Performance Products tires, and as you see, this is one that's just right out of the pack. And then we took one and just scuffed it down as well, and I just did this one real quick. And again, this is one you could hit with a dull coat if you wanted to, but just a mild scuff and get them nice and round too. So that's it, guys. That's the way I do it anyway. It's what I've gotten used to over the years. And like I said, there are commercially available tire things that you can that work on a number of tires. And if you have one of those or you use one of those, let me know in the comments. Maybe something I want to jump on and eventually get in on too. And another thing is the 3D printed tires. I did not talk about those, just the kit tires primarily, but if you want to get into the 3D printed stuff, round them, for the most part, a lot of them don't have those mold seams and that kind of stuff, but if they do, or you've got an imperfection in them, hey, just chuck them in and sand that down very lightly. But it works on those too, because I have done it. Well, guys, that's it for this one. I've got a stash ad video that's coming up from some stuff I got over the last 2 days, and a shop card, and we're going to be shifting gears. I'll cover that in the next video. But guys, appreciate you tagging along on this one too. God bless. Head over to HobbyNut Models, check out Mark's inventory, see what you can live without. I'll see you in the next video, guys. God bless again. We'll see you later.